Hello students, good afternoon. Today's presentation we are going to see about the Petrel volume calculation. So in the previous presentation we have seen the Petrel well design and other concepts. Now today's presentation we will see the Petrel volume calculation concepts. Let's go to the presentation. So Petrel volume calculation. So that is today's presentation. So volume calculation objectives. So here we are going to understand the principles of volume calculation, triangulation and exact volume calculation, cases pen and results pen, and create a new case pen using the following inputs, that is contacts and general properties, oil and gas properties, then filters and well boundaries. Then create and using the outputs. So we have to use the volume properties, reporting and volume maps. That is your volume calculation objectives. Next slide. So the principles of volume calculation, that is first one, volume calculation principle. Since your each cell is triangulated, so it's possible to cut the cell exactly and use the exact contacts. That is your volume calculation principle. And also you have to put the inputs. What are the inputs needed for your volume calculation? So what is in the 3D grid zone? Segments, if you want to calculate the volumes of each zone and each segments in the 3D grid, which you have to divide it into zones and segments. Then next is your properties of oil and gas, such as porosity, so water saturation for oil and gas water, then porosity. So if these properties do not exist, then a constant value should be given by the user. And constants such as BO, GO, gas oil ratio, gas oil for water and oil, then contacts, then recovery factors, then boundary, which is using a license block, which must be available and which must exist in the polygons. The volume will be exactly towards the polygons, and the volumes will be cut vertically along each polygon. So this is the principles of volume calculation. So now we can see the principle. So now the data that can be used are the boundary license block, zone segments, properties, the net and gross, porosity, water saturation, then constants, gas oil ratio for gas and BO and BG. And contacts, oil was water contact, gas water contact, then gas oil contact. And recovery factor, RF0 and RFG. So that is the principle. Then exact volume calculation is enhanced using the triangular techniques. Then the volume calculation process, this step is calculated in the bottom of the process pane. So you have to double click on the icon to start the process, and you have to run the volume calculation, which will create a case which will have an icon, the case pan, and volume calculation as a sub icon. So this will become the filter for showing the results of first run in the of your window plot. Then once you all of your properties or inputs has been entered, you should press the run button to do the volume calculation and press OK, or apply will simply just save all the cases to the case pan. So this can be run at a particular date or at the click menu or using the volume calculation process. Then you can see here the cases pan. So running a volume calculation, we will create a cases. So case 1, you can see here, which will be a folder in the each case span, and the volume calculation is subfolder. This will act as a filter for seeing your results. So you can see here case and volume. And the results span, which acts as a filter outputs of the volume calculation and the standard Parameters will be calculated for all the volume calculation as long as the appropriate input is supplied. So this is the process. And the next, the contacts. So enter the contacts which is to be used. The contacts must be created to in the make contacts process in the Petrel. Then process dialog. You can see the creating a new case, that is your properties tab. So you can see here define the name for the new case or use an existing case name. Number 2, you can see here select which 3D from the drop down menu to run the volume calculation on. Then define the intervals to use, and you can use the contacts created earlier. Then select the contacts from the fluid contacts folder in the 3D grid and drop them into the contacts tab using the blue arrows. You can see here number 4. Then property dialog. So here general properties and oil zone properties, then gas zone properties. General properties are properties such as net gross and porosity recoverable in oil and gas, and then oil zone properties specific for oil zone. So oil gas ratio, water saturation or oil saturation in the zone. There are free gas within the zone. You can enter SG and BG and oil gas ratio for the free gas. And in the gas zone properties for specific for the gas zone, that is oil gas ratio, water saturation or gas saturation in the specific gas zone. So you can enter the SO, S0, B0 and GOR for the free oil. So this is the property dialog now. So this is the property process dialog. You can see the number 5. Number 5, define the oil and gas properties and which can be done from the grid, and select the constant property box and type with the values. And under the green, under the general properties tab, we can activate the NG, N by G, and porosity properties are constants. You can use. Now the number 7 is the result and select which properties and volume maps to it, generate if needed. So that is the new case results pane. Then number 8, the volume calculation is run. Then the properties are stored in the properties folder of the selected grid. Number 8. Number 9, that maps are stored in the volume maps folder in the input pane. So you can see here number 9. Then next is your boundary. There is a where this is where to specify the boundaries and filters. So this could be polygons which are describing the license boundary, and these boundaries also can be used around some of the specified or all the wells, but different. Later on the radius is used. So if you want to use the filter, use the property filter or zone filter or segment filter, etc. So now you can see the number 10, that is your click and apply, save settings and run the volume calculation and view your output. Number 11, you can see the filters. A and B is your well boundaries, you can see, and click run again, and in the results pane the filter settings are stored, and then right click on the volumetric select settings, then select the properties display in the report and make sure the correct case is selected, then specify the detail level and the format tab which should be used, then press the make report button. Number 5, you can see. Then number 6, you can see here the view the report and copy it to the text editor. So now we can go to the output report. So to create a report, you can done in 3 ways. So you have to make the report while running the volumetrics, make the report button and run first, then right click on the volumetrics, run in the cases pane. Then number 3, right click on volumetrics in the results pane and go to the reports tab. So that is your making how to make the output report of your volumetrics in Petrel. So you can see the output volume maps stored in the input band, number one. Number two, you can see here, maps can be displayed in a map window. You can see STOIP, STOIP. Then the volume maps can also be shown in 3D. Graph over your topographic surface, the output depth surface from horizon, and copy the STOIP map as a surface attribute and paste it into the new depth surface. So you can see here, and click the apply and view the surface in 3D window. So thank you. So we have completed today our presentation on Petrel volumetrics. So subscribe my channel. So today we have seen the Petrel volume calculations presentation. Next presentation we'll see more, and next presentation we'll see more on Petrel softwares modules. Thank you. Subscribe my channel.